How to have a good argument. Hi, I'm Dr. Gail Lewis. This is the first of the 3 teaching videos on relationships that I promised you. Videos where you will learn how to resolve conflict, communicate better, and improve or enhance your relationship. In this one, we're going to talk about how to have a good fight. You may want to have some paper to take notes. Fighting is expected in a relationship. Fighting is not bad. In fact, it's one of the most intimate things a couple can do, if done well. Yet most people are not clear how to fight well. So let me set the stage. Both men and women want to feel heard when they are upset or angry about something in the relationship or something the other person has said or done, or not said or not done. But typically, women's style of expressing themselves is by crying. Their anger or disappointment comes out through tears. For men, they typically express themselves with a raised voice, which they may or may not even realize is being raised. Or they go silent or remove themselves, like walking out of the room or leaving the house. Therefore, if you want to have a good argument, it is important to do it in a way that will be effective, where he won't yell, go silent, or walk out. Think of the discussion as if you're at a business meeting. Since men like to solve problems, present your issue as if it were a problem that needs solving. He won't feel personally attacked, and chances are you'll get a much better resolution. So therefore, I've identified 15 sequential steps to help you have a good fight. Let's go through them one at a time. First step, pick only one topic to discuss at a time. Most women make the mistake of talking on and on because the man isn't responding. So how do you go about picking one topic? Here's a tip. If for a full week you were to make a list of every single complaint you have and then categorize them, you'd probably see that in fact you really only have 2 or 4 complaints. You may only have 1. They all fall into a category. The rest are just examples of what bothers you. You don't feel heard, appreciated. He's not carrying his fair share of responsibility in the home. When you categorize them, you are able to narrow it down to what you want to say, and you can hold the others until some future time. The bottom line is be specific. Okay, step number 2. Make sure you have his attention before you broach the need for a discussion. Choose a quiet time when he's not reading or on the computer or otherwise occupied. Since the purpose of this communication is to tell him you want to have a discussion on a particular topic, wait until you have eye contact. And wait until you have his undivided attention before you start talking. It's never a good idea to have this type of discussion when you're already upset, when you're in the middle of an argument. If that happens, take a break and continue at a later point, as you'll hear in a minute. This is not avoiding the argument, it's setting a better boundary so you'll have a better discussion. Step 3. Set an agreed upon time to meet. Be as specific as the day, the hour, the location. Make sure it is the time you will not be interrupted. Be clear you both agree to turn off your texts and your emails. Now, if you're already in the midst of an argument, take a break, as I said, and set a time to continue. This can be in an hour or the next day. This will give both of you time to cool from the passion of the moment and think about what you'd really like to say and how you'd like to say it. However, it's important to remember to follow up with the discussion at the agreed upon time. Don't let it slip away. Okay, step 4. Set the length of time that you want to talk. Make it no more than 60 minutes. If you need more time, you can reschedule for another 30 or 60 minutes. One reason for the limited time is that many men have a hard time staying focused too long on an emotional topic. Another reason is the longer the conversation, the more chance of it going awry, getting off the specific topic. It's sort of like wanting to leave a party while you're still having a good time. For both of your benefits, keep to the time period. There is safety in knowing that there is an end point. Often, important comments are made just near the end. Don't let that deter you. Remember to bring it up at your follow-up conversation. Step 5. Come prepared, preferably having the issue you are concerned about in writing. Make it no more than 3 or 4 sentences. Because you want to stay away from becoming emotional and because you want to pare down what you have to say to a few sentences, it's a good idea to write out what you want to say. Step 5. This may sound silly, but practice how you want to say it. This will keep you focused. Read it over to yourself out loud. Read it to a friend. Hearing your words out loud gives you a chance to hear how he might hear it. And practicing allows you to diffuse your emotion and check it for accusations. You want to say what you have to say without accusing him, without putting him on the defensive. If he feels attacked, he's likely to attack you back. Okay, we're up to step 7, using I statements. I statements are a way of talking that expresses your feeling without accusing him. For instance, I felt hurt when you forgot our anniversary. That's very different than you forgot our anniversary. That he can hear as an accusation. The I statement, though, doesn't have to have the word I. It just has to express how you feel. So another example is, when you speak to me that way, it makes me feel you don't love me. As opposed to, don't talk to me like that. It's not the anger, it's expressing the feeling that's important. Be careful to avoid what I call cheating I statements. A cheating I statement is, I feel you shouldn't talk to me that way. That's really telling him something he did wrong. It's not about your feelings. Step number 8. Avoid absolutes like always, never, and commands like should and shouldn't, have, must, need to. I know this is obvious, but if you aren't careful, it's easy to slip into one of these words. This is another reason for writing out what you want to say and then practicing it. Step 9. Repeat back what he says to make sure you understand his point before you present your own point or take issue with his. Do this for each of his statements. Have him do it for your statements. Doing this helps avoid misunderstandings. It's really easy to mishear a word that could change the whole meaning of the sentence. You could be saying you're not interested in spending money on a new sofa, and he may have missed the word not. Step 10. Stay focused on a solution. One way to stay focused is not to bring up any past situation. Stay on the situation that is happening at the moment, or what has just occurred, not something that happened last week or the week before or 3 years ago. Another way to stay focused is to avoid accusations and blame. The goal of all arguments is to have them resolved in a way that prevents you from having the same arguments later. So you want a solution that will end the issue. The solution may be a compromise. You may go back and forth and end up with something that is less than ideal. Do not stop, though, until it is something you both can live with. Moving right along, we're up to step 11. Do not be defensive. When you ask, or what may feel like to him is a challenge, when you ask why he did or didn't do something, you move away from looking forward towards a solution. You're looking back why he did or didn't. You want to look forward towards a solution. When either of you has to explain why you did or didn't do something, it puts you on the defensive and opens the door for getting off the specific topic. Number 12, avoid showing your emotions. Women, this is really hard, but it is so important. Tears, as well as yelling and sarcasm, interfere with problem solving, and they distract the man. Avoiding tears and yelling, as I say, is very difficult for many women because they are a reflection of expressing anger and expressing the helplessness you feel. However, it's really important. Keep the tone matter of fact. Let me say it again. Keep the tone matter of fact. Remember, you're at a business meeting. Again, this is why writing out what you want to say and practicing is helpful. Another trick to avoid showing your emotions is to write a letter which you would not give, letting out all those nasty things that you are feeling, and then read it aloud several times if necessary. Or talk to a friend, saying all the really nasty things you are feeling. This allows you to vent in as much emotion as you need before you deal with him directly. Step 13. Make sure you end with concrete ideas for handling the situation this time and in any future time. Remember, the purpose of the argument is to resolve the issue so you don't ever have to come back to it again. Both of you contribute ideas. Make sure you are both comfortable with them. Then write down what you have agreed to, so later there'll be no misunderstanding about what you've decided. Step 14. Make sure you end with a hug and/or a handshake. Like any business deal, it needs to be sealed in some friendly way, and a handshake might even lighten the mood. Okay, our last step. Remember, you love each other. You are not enemy combatants. Most couples in the midst of an argument forget you love each other and forget that you're on the same team. So take this image. Imagine the two of you are sitting side by side on your sofa with the problem in a chair across the room from you two. You're now here, and as a partner, you both resolve the problem that is sitting in that chair. This reminds you that the issue is the problem. It's not each other. If you follow these 15 steps and do them well, you will end up feeling more love and affection, knowing you both feel heard. You have worked together, not against each other, to deal with the issue of great concern to you. When you feel really heard, usually men and women feel very emotionally intense and connected to each other. So do not be surprised if he wants to make love with you now. If you do too, that's fine. If you're not ready yet, gently let him know you appreciate the good discussion you had, you're glad how well it went, yet you're not ready yet to make love. If you're ready at a later point, it'd be really positive for you to mention it, rather than wait for him to raise it again. So this is the first of the 3 teaching videos about relationships. I hope these 15 steps have proved helpful to you. Next week, you'll get what the heck did he mean? Gender differences in language. See you then.